if you are ready to get into the Halloween spirit, then we have literally a little bit of everything to get you hyped for this Halloween.
Cool Mates Entertainment presents Not Another Spooky Podcast.
Hey Ghoster Squad, welcome back to Not Another Spooky Podcast, aka your favorite spooky slumber party. I'm Mandy Spooks.
And I'm Rabbit Loves Horror. We're just two lifelong besties keeping the spook together all year.
Today we're celebrating halfway to Halloween. So to set the vibe for this episode, let's get into some slumber party shenanigans. Today's game is Bone, Marry, Slash. Rabbit.
Is that my cue?
I don't think you did do a sound for
I don't think I
Slash
did one
last time. Oh no.
No.
Okay, next time you need a sound for Bone, Marry, Slash. I think I just said
Okay.
Bone, Marry, Slash.
I think we'll go with that. That sounds
Okay, we'll stick to that. Let me redo that for you guys. Today's game is Bone, Marry, Slash.
perfect.
It's hard out here for ghouls that don't have time to edit, guys. Okay, so this is kind of like a little sneak peek into a topic later today, but if you have to bone, marry, and slash from these characters, what would your lineup be? So we have Shaggy, Fred, Velma, and Daphne from the Scooby-Doo gang, and I guess you could slash two people? Unless you
Slash
wanted to
two.
marry two or bone two. I mean,
Okay.
this is a very open community.
It's gonna be hard because now there's like a mix of like two people that can go into one section. Let's see. Bone, Mary, Slash. Oh my gosh. Okay, Bone, Fred, obviously. He's like the himbo, the big dumb blonde. So we'll bone Fred. Dang. I guess I'll also bone Shaggy. He just
Oh.
he just seems like a good time also, but I don't think we would do well together. But it could be fun. Oh gosh. Now I'll slash Daphne. I've never been a huge Daphne fan. Even from when I was little, I never really, I don't know, liked her that much. But she was really pretty when I saw her in person. I was like, oh, she's really pretty. And I guess I'll marry Velma. She's like the nerdy one, so I think we'll have lots to do, lots to hang out, go to little nerdy events, play video games together, and learn stuff from her because she's a huge nerd. So I like Velma. What about you?
You know, it's funny because we didn't like have much time to think about this one. Like literally we picked them right before we started recording. And I'm like, I don't know, this one's actually really hard. Cause I feel like I don't know them well enough to like make informed decisions, if that makes sense. Cause I've never
Right.
consistently watched Scooby. But I think I'll slash Fred. I don't know. Just doesn't do it for me. um Shaggy seems loyal and fun. I don't know, but also like could be a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would marry too because it's like, well, when Shaggy doesn't come through. um oh, but then like being married to Shaggy and Velma at the same time would be also really weird. Like a very weird dynamic. This is a really
Yes.
hard one. Why did we choose this? Um oh my goodness. Can I forfeit?
No, you have to choose.
Okay. Well, I think Bone Daphne, because yeah, she's like really pretty, but I don't know enough about her. Um, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna marry Velma and Shaggy, but
Okay, I
maybe it
like
won't
that.
be like a throuple situation. It'll be like part time with each of them.
Or you could marry one and divorce and then marry the next one later.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, we're adding divorce. Bone, marry, slash divorce. That one was really hard. If you guys are
Yeah, it
listening on
was.
YouTube, please comment your roundup because it was a tricky one. All right, let's get into some haunted housekeeping. Okay, Ghosters. So today I have a bit of a PSA. If you've been watching my recent YouTube videos, you might have heard that I'm officially moving away from Code Orange and frequent Halloween hunting videos. And to be honest, I can feel that a lot of creators are feeling this shift. But as someone who's tried making the shift before, I know how hard it is for us to actually make the shift as soon as we see our views plummet. And I can feel that so many of you want more Halloween lifestyle content that doesn't just focus on spending money. So I wanted to share a little bit about how the algorithm works so you guys can understand why it's so important to actually subscribe and turn notifications on for the creators you truly want to see thrive creatively outside of consumerism. So, the way YouTube works is it recommends videos to you based on the videos you've already seen. So, if you've watched a lot of my Halloween hunting videos, when I post a hunting video, it'll recommend it to you on your feed. But if I post a behind the scenes video of Bad Boy, for example, and you've never watched anything about behind the scenes horror filmmaking, it would not recommend that video to you because it assumes that you're not going to be interested in it. And yes, that happens even if you are subscribed. So there's a second step, which is you have to turn your notification bells on, but you also have to make sure that it is set to recommend or to notify for all videos because for some channels, it'll set it to personalized, which means it'll still revert back to only recommending videos that are similar to the ones you've seen on my channel before. So, if you really want to see what the Halloween community can really evolve into without everyone falling back into the cycles of Halloween consumerism, please support the people who are trying to tell you that they want to see something different because the reality is we are not content creators if there are no people to consume the content like all of you.
Yes. Well, thank you for explaining that. That makes a lot of sense. I remember when YouTube back in the day, where your homepage was your subscriptions, like you would open YouTube and it would just be only the people that you subscribe to. And then I remember there was like a huge controversy where creators were so upset because now the homepage turned into like your suggested videos only, like the For You page. And yeah, I found that so annoying when that switched because yeah, everybody that I subscribed to weren't being suggested to me, and I was so I know, like, why can't just, like, the homepage be what I subscribe to? But I get it, they wanna push other people out and get the the audience to, like, new creators to keep the cycle going with new stuff and keep you on YouTube to keep watching videos that you have been watching, so that is annoying. So, yes, I feel like if you don't have the bell on, you're not really subscribed for any of your
Yeah.
creators because, yeah, it'll hide stuff. Like, I know when we first started watching YouTube on our TV, we would open the YouTube app on our TV, and I would get so annoyed with Michael because he would only stay on that homepage and go through, like, to see what we would watch. And like, "Can you please just go to our subscriptions and see, like, who posted something so we can watch from there?" So, yeah, it is very important, and thank you for explaining that because that makes a lot of sense on why it doesn't recommend videos that I've already or creators that already subscribed to.
Yeah, and even if you go specifically like, I've noticed if you go to the subscriptions section on your TV, even then, it still puts, like, the ones it thinks you're gonna like at the very top. So you have to scroll through that whole section to really make sure, like, did I miss anything from the creator I want to see? And the reason I'm sharing this is because I do know that, like, I've had conversations with other creators who are just feeling this shift of, like, I don't want to do this, but every time I try doing something different, people just don't like it. And I don't think it's that people don't like it. I think it's that the algorithms just don't push that content to the people who are saying they want something different, but then don't show up. They're just not being shown those videos. And I've gotten so many comments recently too that are like, "Oh my god, I missed you posting," or I'm so glad that you started doing videos again." And I'm like, "I never stopped doing videos. You guys just didn't get recommendations because they weren't similar to what I normally do." So, hopefully this helps and hopefully this encourages you guys to at least do it for like your top 3 creators right now. Like little Gulster homework, don't do it for everyone, but think right now off the top of your head, who are the 3 people I want to really see thrive in this new era of creation? And go turn on their notification bells. Hopefully one of them is mine.
Yes.
I'm hoping that if we all band together, that together we can all let creativity thrive again.
For sure. I think we can do it.
It's up to you guys now. We're
Yeah.
doing the work. All right, Ghosters, let's turn this spooky slumber party into a seance and call upon Menser Van Ghoul.
Hi, ghoulies. It is so good to be back. I'm really feeling the halfway to Halloween is hitting. I feel like Rabbit and I are getting more and more excited for Halloween to come right around the corner, but we will still continue to celebrate Summerween. So, that being said, this week I kind of wanted to extend last month's ice cream social. One of my biggest challenges is I find that I'm always drawing women. I'm always drawing girly pops. So anytime I'm like tasked with drawing a guy, I really, really hate it. Like I hate it so much. They're so boring. They're so angular. It's not fun. But I think to grow and learn, you kind of have to challenge yourself a little bit. So I wanted to have a little bit of fun and extend my ice cream social to some men who do not always get the love that they deserve. So this month I am sharing with you part two of the ice cream social. I am highlighting some of my favorite Disney villains who are also going to join the lineup with the other girlies from last month. So we have Captain Hook from Peter Pan, Scar from Lion King, Hades from my favorite Disney movie, Hercules, and of course, Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas, because I'm going to hold on to Halloween as long as I can. So this is this month's Sinister Sketch.
That is so cute. Very unexpected. And I love that you're expanding this line. It can become like your whole thing. Um, but I love that you did Hook. I feel you're right. I feel like he never really gets recognized in anything, even when they do like the Disney villains lines for like makeup and stuff. He's never part of it, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Captain Hook and Scar, I feel, are kind of sometimes always left behind because like Oogie Boogie has his own party, and then Hades, I feel like he's kind of like the fan favorite of the villains because he's
For
so
sure.
funny. So I'm glad it was like a mix of the two most popular and two that kind of got left behind.
Yeah. And of course, they're super flamboyant, so I feel like I'm cutting corners a little bit with them and still having a good time.
Super cute. Oh, and then Oogie Boogie is so cute. Like, I don't know if I could eat him.
I just imagine he's filled with like gummy worms on the inside, you know?
Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
that's
Okay.
cool. There's like some kind of concept in that.
Yeah. Okay,
I
if you had
know.
to choose one out of all of these, which one would you choose? Like to eat based off looks.
I'm trying to imagine like what flavor they would be too. Um, I feel like Scar would be some kind of like orangey one, so I know Rabbit would probably
Oh.
love that. Hades would be like some blueberry. Captain Hook, I have no idea if y'all can help me with what flavor that would be, but Oogie would definitely be
Vanilla.
some kind of vanilla. Okay, okay, we'll do that. We'll do vanilla. I would probably. Oh, let's go with like sea salt because of the alligator.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
I would probably. Oh, the crocodile, not alligator. They're different. Oops. I would probably go with Oogie. I would go with Oogie for sure.
yeah. Okay.
How about
I
y'all?
feel like Hades would be cotton candy or bubble gum, to be honest. I don't know why. Like, I feel
Oh,
like that's
Oh,
what it would be, so I would choose Hades.
okay.
yeah. Off of looks, I think I would want to take a bite out of Hades, but once you said that Scar would be orange, then yeah, I would
Yeah,
definitely go with like the orange creamsicle flavor. So I'll go with Scar.
for sure.
Oh my gosh. I was already hungry before we started this, you
I
guys.
know.
We can have a snack break.
All right. Thank you so much. And Sinister Sketch, as always, Mentor Van Ghoul.
Thank y'all so much. I'll sketch you later.
All right, Ghoulsters, it's time to get into the spooky mood for today's halfway to Halloween celebration. So grab your notebooks and pencils because Slash is in session.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, halfway to Halloween feels like it should have always existed, but it's actually a pretty modern tradition. The idea technically dates back to horror fans and haunted attraction communities informally celebrating the 6-month mark before Halloween around April 30th. There is a lot of debate as to what the official date is, but people tend to celebrate April 30th through May 2nd. So throughout the 2000s and 2010s, haunted houses, conventions, and horror brands started using the phrase more often for spring events and early Halloween announcements. but it really exploded during quarantine. In 2020, when people were stuck at home craving comfort, nostalgia, and escapism, horror communities online leaned hard into year round Halloween culture. Streaming services like Shudder started promoting Halfway to Halloween, programming events, creators began making spooky content months earlier than usual, and suddenly people realized they didn't actually need permission from the calendar to enjoy Halloween. And Quarantinoween was kind of the hard launch of Halloween becoming a more mainstream lifestyle. Creators like Jade the Libra and Halloween Happy had already been sharing their spooky lives online for years, but Quarantinoween proved just how many people were actually craving that atmosphere year round. People wanted the comfort of horror movies, vintage Halloween decor, spooky routines, haunted attraction content, and that feeling of autumn nostalgia even in the middle of spring and summer. Brands noticed it too. Disney jumped on the trend with the official Halfway to Halloween campaigns, themed merch previews, spooky food announcements, and early park reveals. Once major brands realized people didn't just want Halloween in October anymore, the whole thing snowballed, and that's when the spooky revolution began. What started as a niche horror fan tradition became a full cultural moment. Now it's basically the unofficial start of spooky season prep, with horror marathons, Halloween merch drops, HHN speculation, vintage decor hunting, and collectively pretending that summer does not exist. At this point, Halfway to Halloween has basically become a second Halloween celebration. It's like a one-day soft launch into spooky season before we all immediately transition into Summerween mode until Spirit Halloween rises from the dead in an abandoned strip mall. I think its popularity says a lot about why people love Halloween in the first place. It's not just about one night in October, it's comfort, atmosphere, creativity, nostalgia, and community. Quarantine just made more people realize that.
Yeah, so I actually, that's like the perfect transition into my first thing I wanted to talk about. So I'll save my comments for the next section.
Okay, great. Well, then it's time for our favorite chat of the month, Keeping the Spook Alive.
Ooh,
All
I
right,
feel so
Rabbit, how
silly.
are you I love it though. I really love it. But how are you keeping the spook alive?
Okay, so I'm glad you started with that slashes in session because that's exactly how the next event kind of got created. So I went to VHS Society's Halfway to Halloween celebration thing. So if you don't know what VHS Society is, it's a monthly horror movie club where they go to different areas up in LA and do like a horror movie viewing together with the community. It's hosted by Alj and his husband. And how it links into your slashers in session is that I was talking to him there. I was like, how did you like start getting into like hosting just like horror movie viewings? And he said, because during 2020, during quarantine, they were looking for something to do and they loved horror movies. So they would host horror movie viewings in their backyard. So they would invite their friends and then everybody would be kind of like separated into like oh my god, what's the term? Social distancing. So they would do it in their backyard. They will show social distance and watch a horror movie, I guess, in their projector, I'm assuming, in their backyard. And that's how their society or their movie club started because um they would have it every month and then their friends would eventually like invite their friends. And eventually when COVID went away, the restrictions went down. They were like inviting like random people to their house and they felt like kind of weird about just inviting friends of friends of friends to come view movies at their house. So they started going out and looking for venues that would let them host like a horror movie viewing party. And that's how it kind of evolved into this new VHS society that we have today, which is really cool. It was really fun to go.
That is so cool. What a perfect transition. We didn't even plan that.
I know.
So what
um
did you watch? Tell me more about like what you actually did at that event.
yeah, so I thought it was just gonna be like you just show up to, it was at a brewery up in Burbank. So I thought we were just gonna like show up, check in, because there is a ticket. You have to buy a ticket to get in. So I thought we were gonna just like show up, check in, and then go sit down at the brewery, get like a drink, and then just like wait for them to play the movie. But no, it had like a full market. There was a couple of vendors there, which was cool. They had like prints and candles that you can buy and VHS tapes that you can buy of different movies, like modern. modern movies that this person just created and put them into VHS tapes and created. I don't know if she created or if like an artist created, but like the full VHS sleeve with artwork and all that. So it was really cool to just see modern movies in a VHS sleeve. And yeah, just like different vendors like that. And also, I don't know the main person's name, but I know Sassy Sledgehammer, and I think a lot of people know Sassy Sledgehammer. But her and her partner were there promoting their movie. So I guess he had made a movie a couple years ago called Creeping Death. So he was there promoting it, and I had never seen it. So afterwards, after the event, I went to go watch the movie, and it was very much similar to Trick or Treat, where it's like this Celtic entity that wants to keep the spirit of Halloween alive. So he goes around killing people that don't follow Halloween traditions. So it was
Oh,
really similar, but of course he's much ugly and scary than Sam. He's not as cute as Sam. He's like an actual like monster looking guy. So it was kind of a nice little treat to watch that movie during halfway to Halloween because I was like, oh, this is like Halloweeny and Halloween vibes, and it really made me sit. But it was a double feature, so we got to watch Haunt Season and Creep Show. So Haunt Season was which I love movies about haunts. Like it was a movie
mm,
about the haunt crew. So like it was these group of people putting on this haunt for people, and one of the haunters starts killing people, but you don't know who it is. So they're like masked, and it's a mystery. Like, oh, who's killing all of these haunters? And you find out at the end, and it's really funny. It was really cool, and it was just nice to be out at a place where with other horror movie enjoyers because everybody was so respectful while the movie was on. Everybody was like laughing at the jokes. And I don't know, I just feel like when you go to some horror movies, sometimes, or you go to the movies in general, there's like that, not that like respect in the movie theater. And even though we were at a brewery, it just felt like this is how you're supposed to watch a movie with a group of people all laughing, all paying attention, not on their phone, which I've seen a lot lately with people on their phones. It was just people like in the moment enjoying the movie. And it was so nice to be in that group of people. But that was cool. Then at the end, the director was there, and I believe a director, producer, and an actor were all there for this little viewing party. And they had a little Q&A at the end, which was really fun. And some people asked like really cool questions. I didn't really ask anything because I was scared. I was nervous to like say anything, but I was assuming like, oh, there's not going to be that many questions. But no, people had questions and questions and questions, and it was really cool just to see the community connecting with a horror movie creator. In my eyes, oh, this is so cool just to watch this in real time, and people were having a great time. And then we also saw a short film in between called Graveyard Romantic, which was about a zombie that comes to life in the Christmas season, that wants to go back to his ex-girlfriend. So that's why it's called Graveyard
oh,
Romantic, because he comes back from the dead and he's like looking for his ex-girlfriend. It was really cute. And
it sounds cute.
it was really cute. And the whole Christmas thing, it was nice. It was a cute short film, and that director was there too. So he was also doing some Q&As. That day was really long for me. We woke up early getting ready for an event later this month with Mincer Van Gogh's art. So by the time Creep Show was on, I was like, I gotta go home. Like I'm about to crash. So we didn't stay for Creep Show, but we did watch the first two films, and I was very happy with them.
Wow, that sounds like such a good event. And
Mm-hmm.
I love it's really cool because there's another thing coming up in today's episode that will tie into this, but it's really cool because you're starting to experience a lot of like what I have experienced as a creator, but also just like living in Denver with access to like a bigger horror community. And I 100% understand what you mean of how, like, watching horror with horror fans is just a whole different experience, and I love it
Mm-hmm.
so much, like, that is my favorite thing about going to the screenings here because there's other horror creators that are just as excited and, like, you can't like, I don't know what it is because you would think going to, like, a regular opening night for films would be people who want to see that film too, but for some reason, the energy is just so different when it's, like, specifically curated for horror people. It's just different.
Yeah.
They, like, react, they laugh, And I think maybe that's what's different because I just saw Mortal Kombat 2 on Friday, and well, we've seen the first one, so we know, like, it's gonna be bloody and gory,
Yeah.
but I think because the first one didn't release in theaters, a lot of people skipped it, but wanted to go see this one, so I could hear, like, the soft reactions of, like, "Oh my god," like, people were not vibing with it, so I think maybe it's also that people go in because of the mainstream clout for some of those movies, not knowing,
Yeah.
like, this is horror or stuff, so I really loved hearing that, and I'm also so jealous that you got to see, like, more indie filmmaking, and it sounds like they were good ones, so I'm gonna see if they're available online somewhere because they all sounded really good.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Oh, you know what? The Haunt, it's called Haunt Season, is on uh Dread Central. Do they have like a streaming platform or something? Or they're
I am not sure, I know they have a website.
yeah. They're linked to some streaming platform. I don't remember the name of it, but I think it's on there. I didn't research what streaming platform it was.
Interesting, I'll
But
have to look
but
them up,
yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. How'd you keep the spook alive during this Halloween season?
so I actually shared this a lot on my Patreon because that's where I'm focusing on it, but I did wanna give, like, a small, I guess, insight into why my month was a little different than normal. Because you were a busy bee, and it made me feel, like, very, like, "What the heck? Why is Mandy Spooks not doing anything this month?" But I did share on my Patreon that a really big part of starting my Healthy for Halloween journey was removing myself from social situations that would make it difficult for me to really just, like, focus on those goals for at least a month. And it also helped that we're also on a really tight budget right now because we're still recovering from the costs of Bad Boy, of course. So it was like, okay, let's take a pause on socializing and see like what does our life look like if we really eliminate like unnecessary spending on some of those events, but also just like even when it's a free event, it's really challenging for me because, like, the Ready or Not screening alone, I was offered cocktails, popcorn, drinks, like, all these things, and it's part of content, so it becomes, like, really challenging to, like, I don't wanna be wasteful by getting it just for the camera, but then I obviously wanna enjoy it a little, so I was like, "Let's remove myself from a lot of those situations just so I can, like, grow a foundation for this journey." And it really helped, honestly, like, an entire month of removing myself from external pressure really, really helped me, like, focus on, like, mastering my goals, which led me into our Halfway to Halloween yard sale. So, I won't share too much about it because there's gonna be a recap video on my channel very soon, and I also did, like, a prelude to it of, like, this is what we're doing. But ultimately, we did a Halloween yard sale at Horrid's Halfway to Halloween event, and it was really cool, and this whole thing that I wasn't honestly even expecting, but with that came challenges, and I was really nervous because it was, like, the first time we were gonna be, like, away from or my first time being away from home for so long. My first day was a 12-hour day, and I don't ever leave home for, like, anything other than, like, a 2 to 4-hour event, so I was away from home for 12 hours, did not meal prep, did not do, like, anything, did not plan ahead, like, it was just, like, so chaotic. I have a whole new appreciation for vendors, by the way. But I was so proud of myself because they did have, like, they called their PSL the Basic Witch, and so I was like, "You know what? Like, I deserve like, I need to enjoy moments of indulgence still," and there wasn't a lot of options, so I had, like, this really delicious burrito from Scream and Sugar and, um a PSL, the Basic Witch, which was so good. And then I ended up having dinner at Brutal Poodle, which you remember I took you to.
Hmm.
And I was like really conscious of like, okay, I can enjoy something, but just like don't overdo it. So I asked Mr. Spooks to share like smoked wings with me and sweet potato fries. And then that kinda carried into, like after that day, I felt so, like, confident. I was like, "Oh my god, it is possible for me to, like, balance it." Like, yes, I had a burrito and a PSL, but, like, I didn't go overboard with dinner. And so being able to, like, kind of, like, um what's it called? Resurrect myself into society
Yeah.
basically after a month and not feel so challenged was like such a really nice reward to like all of the like sacrifice I did over the month. And getting to do that with the Halloween community was really cool because they had like pop-up like oh my gosh, photo ops. And then Horrid also did these really cool, like they put out free arts and crafts with like actual how-tos for people with the materials. And since
Oh,
we were in that space for so long versus actually like just going to cover it and leaving, we got to actually like see the community and like the waves of the people that would pass through and like how much people really enjoyed every aspect of those things. Because when you're in it, I feel like, well, you're just enjoying it and you're like, "Oh, cool, content and stuff," but you're not really, like, taking it in, and so, like, seeing how much people really enjoyed it was probably, like, my favorite part of it. Because so many people passed through to, like, do the arts and crafts, and, like, they took their time, like, they were there for a long time, some of them. So and just having such a big space, like, to go from, like we were in the Creepatorium with 2 other vendors where, like, the photo ops and the crafts were, but then people would, like, go to the coffee shop and then go into Horrid and, like, come back. So it was really cool to see for the first time how massive Horrid has become. Like, I get so emotional, like, I nearly cried talking to Emerald, the owner, about this because, like, when we first moved here they were just this little like pop-up market that they would do. And I think that they did have
oh,
like a small space within a bigger shop as well, but it was still just like them popping up at things versus having a space. And I got like really emotional because I was talking to Nick, the owner of Scream and Sugar, and she had mentioned to someone offhand, like, "Oh, Mandy's been with us since the beginning. Like, she was here opening day when we were like just a little cart in the back of Horrid, and now they have like a shop." And it was crazy to see that like people go there to work from home, like, remotely and spend their whole day there, and so I think it was just this, like, huge, like, aha moment of just, like, oh my gosh, when you actually, like, take the time to spend the time there with the community versus just going, like, to enjoy it quickly and leave was a whole different experience, and so it just, like, filled my spooky cup and reminded me too about just how important community is, because so much of being a creator is also, like, a lot of, like, solo work, like working on your own, like, because 'cause you're always on camera, you're scripting, you're planning, you're editing, and just being out with people was like, this is kind of in tune with what I've been saying of, like, it's not about the decor, but it was about the community of, like, all of us being together and, like, yes, some of them did spend and there were vendors, but we were all supporting, like, small businesses, women-owned businesses, which I just realized too, all of us were women-owned businesses, surprisingly too. So it was just such a like fulfilling weekend and way to spend halfway to Halloween as opposed to like going shopping to celebrate.
yeah. No, that sounds nice. It you definitely slow down and smell the pumpkins with this.
Yes, for sure. And it
Yeah,
was
because
like so cool.
I guess you really got to see what you were have been promoting this whole time. Because I feel like before you're like promoting this, promoting that, going in, doing a quick little video, and then putting it out for everybody in Denver to see, like, go to this event, go to this event, and now this yard sale where you had to be there the whole time. You kind of saw the people that you may or may have not influenced to go to these events, and you kind of saw them enjoying the event and not having to go not going to you saw them not going to an event to make content, but just going to the event for event and just having a good time and celebrating Halloween. So that sounds really nice to kind of see some of your influence, I guess, at an event.
Yeah, for sure. And it was yeah, it's just, like, not what I expected, and even just, like, talking to the people who would pass by our table, we actually did have 2 YouTube subscribers show up, which was completely unexpected because I thought most of my following in Denver was on Instagram because that's where I'm promoting Denver events. So that really made mine and Mr. Spooks's day, but just knowing, like, wow, like, I think the bigger part of it is just knowing that not that I have this influence, but that I'm doing what I do is kind of like mission work. Like, I'm
Mm.
supporting this grander scheme of things in Denver, of like these women-owned businesses that have like literally built from the ground up into this huge space that is now home for people who feel alone. Like I started the podcast because I felt alone, and now having a whole community of it is just like this whole full circle moment. Like it's just wild.
No, that's exciting. I get it. I love that for you.
Thank you. Okay, how else are you keeping this book alive?
Oh, let's see. Let me look at my list of things. um, let's go. Okay, so I went to Universal Studios Fan Fest this past week, a couple days ago, and I would consider it a halfway to Halloween event only because people dress up. And I feel like that's part of keeping the spirit of Halloween alive, is dressing up in costume and just going out and having fun with friends and with other people. I actually wasn't going to go to this year's Fan Fest because I thought it was going to be the same thing as the previous year. But then they announced Sailor Moon. And I was like, okay, fine, let's get tickets, let's go. Because I love Sailor Moon. I know she's not very spooky, but I feel like she's very nostalgic. And I feel like nostalgia and Halloween kind of go together, so I feel like it fits. So I definitely have to go for the Sailor Moon stuff. I unfortunately wasn't able to meet Sailor Moon because her line was massive. Like, people love Sailor Moon. And when we first walked in, we walked in around 7:30, 7:45, and we saw this girl dressed up in line in a very unique costume. And when we were passing by, we heard the cast member say, okay, this is a 9 o'clock line. So she was in a 9 o'clock line at like 7:30, 7:45. And we went out, we did our stuff. We went down to like the Scooby-Doo area. We watched the Sailor Moon show. We went to the One Piece show, and we were walking back, and she was still in line waiting. And that was just insane for her to have that much commitment to meet Sailor Moon, and I just didn't have it in me. But I was standing behind the ropes, kind of just like watching her interact with the people that were waiting in line, and she did look at me and gave me like her little heart hands, and that was so cute. So
Aw.
she was so sweet. So I that was nice of her to just like look at me and give me heart hands. I didn't even say anything. I was just like taking pictures of her. She looked so cute. So that was nice of her to acknowledge me, even though she had like a massive, massive line. Um, the food is really good. It was a little bento box, and it came with a blind box cupcake, which was kind of funny.
Oh,
So it was like a cupcake of one of the Sailor Scouts, and you wouldn't know which one it was. It would just give it to you, and then you would just go open it. And luckily, I got one of my favorites, which is Sailor Jupiter. So it was just like a full buttercream icing cupcake, which was really good. And then we saw
that
the
sounds
show.
good.
It was so good. And then we saw the show, which was like a 4D show where the seats like kind of move with whatever's happening on the show. So that was pretty fun. But I guess to get into like the more spooky side of FanFest is we did do the Scooby-Doo tram thing, which was also new for this year, which I thought was perfectly done for the tram. I'm not a huge Back to the Future fan, which was what it was yesterday, what it was last year. But I really feel like the Scooby-Doo tram mystery kind of like felt correct for having a tram experience. If you don't know what it was, is you go into the tram and you're trying to figure out a mystery with Mystery Inc., which is like Shaggy, Scooby, Velma, and all them. And you're trying to figure out who is this masked person called the Phantom Director. So they're putting on a show, and you have to help them figure out who's trying to sabotage the show or something like that. And they give you like a little pamphlet to keep your notes. And when you're on the tram, they play a little video giving you backstory of like what's happening. And so when you get off the tram, you go to different sections that are marked on that pamphlet that you get, and you get like a little map, and you go to these sections. So you go to like Fred's section and look for clues on whatever this little workbook has for you. And then you go to Velma's section and try to like figure out the clues here. And then eventually you like look at your full pamphlet and try to figure out who this Phantom Director is, who's like trying to ruin everything. And then you go to this last section where it has like the final reveal of like where they finally catch the Phantom Director. And that was really cute. it was fun to see that. But then throughout this whole thing, there's also monsters that this Phantom director is like unleashing into the crowd, and they're kind of like
Mm.
helping disrupt everything. And that's where the monsters come in. That's where like the Bride, Frankenstein's monster, and Wolfman and all them come out. But when I went through it, it was very cold. Like it was chilly. I know, weird for this season right now. I feel like it's already getting warm, but I was so cold walking through everything. But it was so cool to walk through a section that we usually are not allowed to walk through. So it was like where they actually filmed the classic horror movie monster movies, which was really cool. So it was like all the, I don't know if you remember, but going on the tram before, where it was a kind of like a cobblestone path. So we got to get down in that area, which was really cool because that's usually an area where they just like park and like tell you about it and show like, oh, that's where they filmed this and that's where they filmed that, and then you just drive off. So it was cool to actually for them to drop you off and you actually walk through and interact with the set, which was like just a cool thing that you can't really get anywhere else. I feel like because that's where it was actually filmed and created and brought to life. So that was a really cool thing. When I walked through it, I did not see any monsters. I don't know if they were on break when I was walking through, but
Aw.
I only saw the Scooby-Doo gang. I didn't see any monsters, unfortunately. Um, I'm gonna put Mensarengo on blast right now. He does not like Scooby-Doo, so I feel like I didn't want to stay there too long because he doesn't really like Scooby-Doo. So we didn't stay there for long. We just like walked through looking at all like little tents where they had stuff and all the props. But the whole time we did not see one monster, which was kind of weird. I thought they would be out there pretty consistently, but I guess I got them during their break time. So I didn't see any
That's
of them.
that's a bummer, but also really weird because it feels like everyone got content of them.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe they like waited around. Or we actually didn't play the mystery game because you're supposed to, like I said, you have this pamphlet, you go to these sections and you look for clues on
Oh,
there and you have like your workbook that you like write down like what you find. And like I said, Master Rengle is not a huge Scooby-Doo fan, so I didn't want to like force him to walk around and like take all these notes. But we called it who the Phantom the director was from the beginning because you're introduced into either 3 or 4 people, and those are your suspects. Like these are your suspects, and go find out who the Phantom director is. So if you don't want a spoiler, maybe skip forward a little bit. But once we saw the people, we were like, oh, it's the flamboyant guy. They always make the flamboyant, the gay person, the villain. We know it's him. So so that was in our mind already, like in the tram, like watching the videos. And then once we get to the final reveal section where they have that whole stage production of revealing the Phantom director, it was the flamboyant gay person. I was like, okay, yeah, we got it right. Let's go. Let's go back up. But it was still fun. It was still a cool experience.
oh, that's funny. Well, I am very, very jealous. This is one of the few events because there's like always things happening at Universal, I feel. And the last fan fest, I was like, oh well, that's cool, but like not end of the world for me. This one was. I was just so sad, especially knowing that they had opened up the original sets from the monster movies too, and just seeing how many pictures and videos people got with the monsters was like such a bummer for me. And the
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo gang too looked really cool. But I had no idea how popular Sailor Moon was, honestly. I actually wanted to recommend if anyone wants like a lot of like up-to-date information about Universal, Pinna Palmer did this huge recap on her stories. And she actually did work for Universal and was the Bride of Frankenstein at some point. So she does like a really good job of like recapping how events go at Universal, but like from the positive and constructive feedback perspective. And I really love it because um, there are a lot of people online who share their opinions on things now, and I don't love it when people bash things but have no experience in it. And she is the perfect person who has like the credibility to be sharing this constructive feedback because she's been behind the scenes, she's been a character, she understands production really well, and so hearing her reviews is always really interesting to me because you know that it's coming from a place of experience and expertise. So if you guys do have the luxury like Rabbit to go to Universal things, follow her stories because that's where she really like drops like the truth bombs and stuff. And so I got to hear her review before you went,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was just kind of like, I wonder how their experiences are going to differ. But both of you guys said that Sailor Moon was like crazy packed, and that was shocking to me because I really like thought that that was going to be like the like not, I guess like the not as popular one from
Right.
everything, because like the others are such huge IPs, but it just
Mm-hmm.
goes to show like how huge every single niche really is. Like there is a niche for everyone's
For
interest
sure.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
Uh, yeah, the Scooby-Doo thing, the line was quick. You maybe were in line for 5 to 10 minutes for the tram to pick you up. But the tram, like I know the one thing that she did complain about was the tram ride, how it was so long. And yes, it was. I was like, can we just get there already? Like I know it's not this far away. I feel like they did take a detour. Maybe it's part of their plan to keep the line so short is because they have a bunch of people in a tram on the way to the area rather than keeping them in line waiting for to get on the tram. So maybe
Yeah.
that's part of the design where they want to keep the line moving so quickly that they have so many trams going out and taking the long way to where you gotta go. So I did remember that was like one of her complaints. And yeah, the tram did feel like a really long tram ride.
Yeah, that's funny.
Um,
Yeah, she shared a lot about like the actual experience of the mystery solving too and stuff. But also it was really cute that Sailor Moon did like give you that time of day. Like it's so considerate, I feel, of the
mhm,
actor to realize like it sucks that not everyone's going to be able to get the experience they want. So like going the extra mile to do that for you is so sweet. Like, genuinely,
exactly.
like, take notes, Mandy Spooks, because that was, like, such a cool thing, like, to realize, like, not everyone has that, the ability
Mhm.
to, like, wait in line. Like, some people probably just can't, like, physically do it
No.
for certain reasons too, so so sweet.
Yeah.
I was actually anticipating you were gonna tell me that you couldn't do, like, all the, because you had said you didn't get, like, the monsters before, but I thought you were gonna say that it was just, like, so packed that you couldn't do everything, kind of like the experience we had with HHN opening night. Was that part of it at all?
No. I felt like it was a good amount of people in there. Like I didn't feel like it was too crowded, like walking through the streets, like you know that Simpson area, or even the escalators. Like I didn't feel like I was crammed in there. So which was nice because it felt like it was less crowded and you were still able to go on everything and everything. The wait for everything was not long. So except for Sailor Moon, except for Sailor Moon, and probably meeting the One Piece characters, which is another really popular anime that people love. I feel like meeting if you're going to meet characters, yes, those lines will be long, but to experience the new attractions that they create, those don't take too long. So that was nice. And I think what they can like also something that Pinup Palmer did say was to help the line for Sailor Moon is bring in more Sailor Scouts because there's a bunch so they can just bring in and kind of split the line where the line won't be as long just for Sailor Moon because people probably just want to meet a Sailor Moon character. She's the only one that they have to choose. And I'm assuming everybody has their favorite Sailor Scout if you're a Sailor Moon fan. And maybe you don't even want to meet Sailor Moon. You want to meet like Sailor Mars or some other Sailor Scout. So I feel like if they were to add more Sailor Scouts, they could definitely kill that line to make it like maybe half of what it was or less if you have like 5 other scouts to choose from.
That's true. That's good feedback. I'm telling you, she knows what she's talking about. But that also, okay, I have two more questions. One is in comparison to HHN, because for me, HHN is like the holy grail of Healthy for Halloween. It's the one event that always challenges me physically, mentally, all the things. So, in comparison to like the massiveness of HHN, like on a tiredness scale, like does FanFest scale across the park the way HHN does? Um, is it just as tiring, or would you say like the stress of HHN and all of the people does make it worse?
Um, it uses the same layout as HHN. So You got to go down to the lower lot. You got to go down to the tram. You got to go to like the water world section. You have to do the same route. But I feel like FanFest has much less people. It's not as overwhelming as Horror Nights. Um, so yeah, same layout. I feel like they don't have enough space. Like I wish they had a little space. I feel like it's built on a mountain. I think it's built like off of a side of a mountain. So they really don't have much space to, extend everything. Even the new ride that they're building, the Fast and the Furious ride, it's not a new area. It's just added onto the escalator section. So, yeah, I would definitely, if you don't want to do a lot of crowds, definitely go to FanFest. It's not as crazy as Horror Nights.
Good to know. And then my other thing was it's interesting because it seems like they're bringing different IPs every year to kind of like spark interest, but I wonder at what point they'll start like recycling some of the more popular IPs because like you and Pinup were saying about having like more of the Sailor Moon girls. I wonder like at what point they'll start bringing back like maybe they'll have like a FanFest favorites
Mm.
cycle at some point where they bring back like Sailor Moon was the most popular. I don't know what was the most popular last year. But it's just a bummer too that they're different ones every year because like I'll never probably get to do the Scooby-Doo and monster ones again.
Well, you never know, because, well, for the first year, it was One Piece and Dungeons and Dragons, and those did come back this year. So One Piece still came
Mm.
back. And a thing on One Piece is that this year they got a show at the Waterworld area. Last year they didn't have a show, it was just a meet and greet, I believe. So I guess they are looking like who is the most popular and what can we do with them. So because they did that with One Piece, they gave him a freaking whole show, a live action show. It wasn't just a screen; it was a live action show. People dressed as the characters. People were screaming and hollering whenever their characters came out. Like Pinup Palmer said, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, I don't know the story here. I don't know who's who, but those people are die-hard fans. It was crazy to see.
Yeah, I
But
didn't even know what One Piece was. When she said it, I was like, what is that?
yeah. But I'm hoping they bring back Sailor Moon. I mean, you can't not bring back Sailor Moon. They have to. Well, I will say they have to bring back Sailor Moon because the merch for Sailor Moon was so bad. Like, it was just literally handbags, mugs, and I feel like t-shirts for children. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't buy anything. I won't ever use a handbag. I don't need a new mug to put in my drawer that can't even fit another small mug, and I can't wear a children's shirt. So I'm hoping that they bring back Sailor Moon. And for Scooby-Doo, I don't know. I feel like that is such an iconic IP that they can't not bring it back. But that's just me. I feel like it's just too iconic for some people.
Yeah. And then the monsters are like
And the monsters,
thriving
yeah.
right now.
They have it all
So
there, yeah.
I I mean, honestly, they could probably this is gonna go into a whole other discussion, so this is my last note. Um, I feel like they could probably do quarterly fan fest nights and theme them around seasons. Like they could do
Mm-hmm.
fuck. Sorry, Universal hire me because this is a great idea. I'm on the market for a marketing job, just saying. But if they did quarterly, they could do like even like an August, like it's probably hard because they need the space for planning, but they could do like the spooky IPs like the Scooby-Doo. They also own Beetlejuice, don't they? Like Scooby-Doo, Beetlejuice, monsters, like make it more of a nerdy
Mm-hmm.
preseason to like HHN. And then even for like the holidays, they could do like all of the Christmas movies too. That would be so freaking cool.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. It should definitely be like a quarterly event.
Yeah. I'm thinking the challenge is the planning and space though because
Yeah.
HHN probably takes so long to put up. But yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. That was a lot. I was really excited to hear more about
So that's what one of the main things I
it.
did. What about you? What else have you been up to?
Okay, so I'm gonna do like a little to keep this shorter. I'm gonna do a plug and then talk about something else if
Okay.
that's okay. So, and you actually don't know anything about this, so I'm really excited to tell you. Last night, I had a spontaneous impromptu spooky pickle party.
I don't even know what that is, but I am very interested in.
I know. So, like I said, cut off social situations. So I had not seen Bert for over a month. I can't recall what I have said on the podcast or any other place. Bert started as a supporting actor on Bad Boy, became my MVP, supporting emotional support person for everything with the film, and we became really good friends. So I hadn't seen her since like, I saw her at the Halloween yard sale, but she just, like, stopped by with a friend, so we hadn't hung out in probably over a month, and we had planned, like, "Okay, May 9th, we're gonna get together, do something, whatever it is, like, we'll both mark the day off," and it started out we were gonna go back to Scream and Sugar and then go to Poodle because we just, like, wanted both things again, like, we love hanging out there, um but then she's like, "Change of plans, like, I need to go to my mom's house, can I just come over?" So I was like, "Okay," and then that, like, turned into, like, "Well, what are we gonna do? And what are we gonna eat?" And Bert, if you guys think I love themes, Bert is like the queen of themes. She will like lock in. So you guys will see the result of that on my Patreon. But it turned into a pickle themed party. And I mean like down to like everything. Everything we ate, we did like a taste test or like a sampling taste test of all the pickle beers she bought, all
Oh
the
my
pickle dips she
god.
bought, all the pickle chips. Like, I thought she was gonna get, like, pickle dips with regular chips, but no, she brought, like, a lineup of pickle chips, lineup of pickle dips, lineup of pickle beers. Absolutely chaos. It was insane. Rudy turned our pizza into a pickle pizza. The only thing we were missing was pickle dessert, and even then we were like, "Oh, it would have been so easy if we had actually thought about it." Um, it was crazy. It was really fun. So yeah, I ended up doing a video and I was gonna put it on YouTube, but it's just like one of those where like I don't know if I want it like actually available for everyone, but Patreon's always like my safer space to put it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna put it on Patreon for sure. It was so much fun. I'll share more details with you after, cause like, Bert did a whole thing of, like she chose her lineups of, like, the perfect pickle pairings of things,
Oh
and
my
I was
god.
like, "Girl, I've been, like, cleansing this stomach for over a month. I gotta take it easy." So she like went all in and like did all the things. I think she did like over 36 testings
Oh
between
my
like because she
god.
literally wanted to try like which beer tasted the best with which chip, which dip tasted better with the chip, and then which was like the perfect trio. Like it was a whole thing. I was so impressed by her. Like it was
Wow. That is
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, it was really crazy, but really fun. Like, it was crazy, like, what the night turned into with just challenging ourselves to, like, pick a pickle-themed movie, and our activities had to be pickle-themed, like, everything was pickle. Um, so yeah, really pushed me to my creative limits.
You know what's
That went
funny?
on longer. What?
So this was last night, right?
Yeah.
That is so weird. So last night, I we didn't really have any plans last night. So Michael was printing stickers for the event that we have coming up. And I was like, I don't have anything to do. I could work on like podcast notes, but I feel like I should watch something while doing it. So I started watching Send Help with Rachel McAdams, and I was like, I want some popcorn. And I was like, oh, I have my pickle seasoning for my popcorn. So I was eating pickle popcorn last night, and you were having a pickle party last night. Isn't that weird? We're so connected.
I know. I was thinking about you the whole time. I was just like, "Oh, it sucks that he's not here because, like, he's also my pickle friend."
I something about food flavored with pickle popcorn. Pickle flavor is amazing. I think I had a pickle beer once at Disney because they had it was a michelada. So it was a michelada beer with pickle juice in it. So instead of like the lime juice, it was pickle juice.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it was so good. Yeah, I could eat anything pickle flavored, honestly. It was so good. But I love that we somehow still stayed connected even though we weren't actually talking to each other, and you didn't even tell me what you were doing, and I still pulled out the pickle seasoning from my popcorn
I
last
know.
night.
I was so excited to tell you about it. I was like, he's gonna love this.
No, I
And
do.
then
I'm
also it's just crazy. There is a spookiness to it. Like if you see the vlog, you'll see how we made it spooky. But it's also insane how many not spooky, pickle products there are now. Like pickles are the moment. Like maybe this is tied to like Charlie XCX's like being the moment and she was green, but like pickles, there's everything. I didn't even share we had like pickle mayonnaise for our sandwiches.
Oh my
There's pickle
god.
ranch. Um we didn't buy them, but like when I was searching on the apps, like there's pickle, mustard pickle, ketchup, like anything you can think of, there's a pickle version now, and it's crazy.
That is wild. I have not gone into that deep of a dive into pickles, but yeah, my pickle seasoning is my go-to for my popcorn.
Well, next time we're together, I think we should have a pickle party. I think it'll be very
Yes,
fun.
I think so too. Even if it's not as elaborate, at least pickle beer and pickle chips and some pickle dip.
And one dip.
Yeah, yeah, one dip.
Like one of each, not all of
Yes.
them. It was so crazy. But what I was actually gonna share, and I'm just gonna get into it because I know you have a few more. The way I actually I guess it's not celebrating because this is what we're gonna be doing all year. But me and Mr. Spooks are obviously like on this filmmaking journey, and so a really big part of becoming a better filmmaker is watching films. And for a long time, Mr. Spooks, has wanted to go through the list of the In Search of Darkness movies. So if you guys don't know what this is, In Search of Darkness is this huge documentary they put together about the iconic movies of the 80s, and it did so well, it was so popular that they've now done one about the 90s. So, we're doing 2 things. We are watching, oh my gosh, I forget what it's called. Is it the AFI list?
I don't know, I haven't heard about
Yes, there's
this.
okay, there's 2 lists we're tackling, but for some reason, shocker, we fell more, like, obsessed into the horror list, so we kind of have been focused on that, but there is an AFI's Top 100 Movies list, which is the American Film Institute's Top 100 Greatest Movies of All Times list, and then there is the In Search of Darkness list, which is, like, all the movies of the 80s that are,
Mm.
like, iconic and important to horror, and it's broken down by year. So, April basically became our year of 1980 horror films, and there were some doozies, but then there were some like, "Wow, why haven't I seen this?" So I have had me and Mr. Spooks have both have had so much fun watching these films. Um, because we're trying really hard to challenge ourselves to go through them in order, and we kind of like hit a point where one of them was like not the best, so we did kind of like skip to something we were vibing with, but we got through all of 1980, and it included The
Dang.
Fog, then Changeling, Dress to Kill, Fade to Black, Motel Hell. We didn't rewatch it because we've already seen Maniac, and then The Shining and Friday the 13th were on that year as well. So I never thought that we were gonna, like, actually watch that much horror at the same time because 'cause we're always, like, very moody, like, "Well, I wanna watch this and I wanna watch
Yeah.
that." But I think because we're both like, this is part of our goals, so we want to, like, see it so we can learn the impact. Um, and there were 2 that really stuck out to me, and I wanted to share more about them. So The Changeling, have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh
It's
my god,
good.
okay. I was surprised that you heard about it because I was like, he's probably not gonna know a lot of the, like, older 80s horror stuff. It's such a cozy movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, um I had saw that it was like kind of like the original haunted house movie or like the original paranormal movie that kind of like started everything. So I did make it a point to watch it. I don't know if it was like a couple months ago or last year, but no, it did not disappoint. I was like, I don't know if like an older movie can be this iconic, which I know is a stupid thing to say, but no, I watched. I was like, oh, this is actually really good. The story was good. The reveal was good. It's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, seen The Changeling. It's good.
Yeah, I just pulled up a super quick summary for you guys just so if anyone has not heard about it, because I feel like I've heard the name so many times,
Mm-hmm.
but I expected something way different than what it is. And I think I thought it was newer too, but it did release in 1980. And it says, after experiencing tragic personal losses, a music professor rents a seasonal mansion with a troubled history. Um, this what is like what I would say is like one of the ultimate cozy horror films. Cause it's like spooky, but because it's older, it's not terrifying. But it
Mm-hmm.
kind of did leave me feeling a little like ugh, going to bed after.
Yeah.
But it was really good. And then my other fan favorite was Motel Hell. Have you heard seen that one?
No, I have not seen Motel Hell.
I don't wanna share what this one's about because, like, it'll give
Oh.
away, like, a really big part of the movie, but it I feel like a lot of the older movies start really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it does not. This one was like I was, like, second screening it for a little bit at the beginning, and then I was, like, locked in. Like, I was just like, "This is crazy. This is a crazy movie." I really liked it. And then, like, just, like, my honorable mention would be, Dress to Kill. Have you heard of that one?
Uh-uh.
It is the guy from Princess Diaries, I think? The hairdresser?
Can I tell you a secret? I've never seen The Princess Diaries.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Michael Caine.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, anyway, he's in it. But that one is also really good and also hard to explain without giving anything away. Um, so I won't say much, but Dress to Kill and Motel Hell were like my favorites. And we kind of like don't have the capacity, but I kind of wish we could do this. I was telling Rudy, like, I wish we could each have like a chart where we have like a thing for each movie and we start like ranking them as we watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just like it's been really fun, and that's how we spent like the majority of our month is doing this, and it has kind of like also like it's created a little spark in our relationship again
Mm-hmm.
because like we're experiencing something new together, and it reminds me a lot of like when we were doing the podcast together, like we would have to watch
Yeah.
the movie we were going to talk about, and it also like takes away from the like us arguing of what to watch because it's like no, we have to like tackle this list, like
Right.
we're it's like a game of us like getting through it together now too, so it has been really fun.
No, I think this is the perfect way to celebrate halfway to Halloween without mixing in the consumerism of everything. It's literally just watching horror movies and getting excited about it. So I think that's like the perfect thing you could have done um for this. Now to go back to your prod, you wanted to kind of like rank everything. Are you all like rating the movies afterwards, or it's just, or do you just like talk about it? You don't really rank rate them, like you know how we usually do like a out of five bats. Are you guys doing that, or is it more just talking about the movie afterwards and not really rating it?
I think it's funny because I did tell him I was like we should start having like a recap session afterwards where we just go through like the IMDb and stuff together. But I think sometimes we're so tired by the time
Mm.
the movie ends because it's usually like later at night that we don't. But what ends up happening is we pause a lot and we're like, did you notice how like this happened? Like we
Oh
kind
yeah.
of talk about it like from a filmmaking perspective of like things we're noticing or like how we could apply like what we see. So there's a lot of like pausing and like, did you see this? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, this made me think we should do this. So it's been really nice. And it's funny because like you just made me realize that of like how it's the perfect way and to celebrate, and also like this is how I started as a creator
Exactly.
was watching like this. It's always been about movies for me, and it's always been about me and Rudy loving it. So it's kind of weird how I've felt this like shift, and without even intentionally trying to do it, like I kind of am going back to
Yeah.
what I always set out to do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like at the beginning you were rediscovering that both of you liked the genre of horror, and now you're kind of rediscovering these older movies that kind of like made horror. So that's that's kind of cool that you kind of did it unintentionally.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what else have you done? Because I know you had a long list.
Yes, I think I'm gonna have to cut some stuff out that aren't as spooky, but I feel like we have to talk about Disney Halfway to Halloween Instagram post. I don't know if you saw it or clicked on it or anything. Because for me, it just like popped up for like one day and I never saw anything about it again. So I had to go back into their Instagram to be like, what were they posting about? Like, what were they trying to do?
You know what? When I saw this pop up on the script, I was like, this is the first year that I did not see it. And I don't know if it's because I have intentionally been offline more, but you are right. Like it did not trend,
hmm
I feel.
No, it didn't. Yeah, because I remember I saw. So if you haven't seen the Instagram yet, they posted. It started with two like cards face down, and there was like a full deck of cards, and then two were kind of set face down, and that was kind of like the teaser for, I guess, their halfway to Halloween announcement. So that's the only thing I had saw when I had opened Instagram months ago, or yeah, I feel like it was months ago, or at least weeks ago. Um, I was like, oh, I never saw what happened from that. So last night I went back to like, what did they eventually post? And they actually flipped the two cards, and the first card was I guess the date reveal, because if you look in the description, all of the capital letters spell August. So I guess that was like a hint that their Halloween stuff was gonna start premiering in August, like the Not So Scary Halloween party, and then for us, Oogie Boogie is gonna be in August. So I think that was the first reveal. And then they flipped the second card also, which I looked at the card and I was like, I don't see anything that stands out. It was just all, Disney villain stuff. But people in the comments are saying, is this like a thing for Agatha? And I didn't really see anything Agatha-y except for like a book, like a spell book on the card. But that was all they posted. So I don't know if there's gonna be more, if they're gonna like turn over some more tarot cards and do some more reveals. Maybe they'll do that for when they release the meet and greets for the villains, because I know every year they have like kind of like a reveal of like who's the villains for this year at Oogie Boogie. So I don't know. Maybe they'll continue on with that, but that's
You
all they
know
got for
what?
now.
As I was listening to your I was like, I need to like look into this because you're right, I missed it. So I saw that yeah, they posted like a week ago and the Shriek Peak. So I get into this every year even though I can't always go. They do like a Shriek Peak blog. That's like
hmm
where they like have everything but they like do the snippets on Instagram and the blog barely came out on April 28th. I feel like that's later than usual, but maybe not. Um and they do have the merch. I have to be honest, I haven't loved the merch the past couple of years.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you. Their branch is always like a hit or miss for some items, and for the most part, they're always all misses, and I only like a few items. But the two items that stuck out to me for this Shriek Peak was the baseball cap. I actually like it. It's a baseball cap. It has like the Disneyland logo, and it has the like I think two webs around it.
I
Did
am
you see
not
that?
seeing that. I'm literally looking at it right now.
It's really
Maybe I
cute.
haven't got into it. But it's funny because how this episode has been so themed and we didn't even plan it. But there's also gonna be a release of Disney villain coffees,
Oh,
apparently, with a evil queen Ursula and oh my god, what is her name? Maleficent. And then there's little people toys coming out with Hades and Maleficent, and they're really cute.
oh, that sounds really cute. I
Yeah,
haven't
they
seen
are
that yet.
very cute. There's a lot of like little toys they're coming out with. Wait, what is this? Mystery coloring, Disney mystery coloring books.
What?
Oh, I see something of Agatha. What is this? Oh,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
book. There's a book of Agatha coming out. So maybe they were right about Agatha, but just not
I
about
guess
what it
so.
was.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Dude, I did not see the hat you're talking about.
I'll have to send it to you. I found it on
Oh, I
Instagram
see it
post.
now. I see it now. Okay. That's kind of cute.
It
Yeah,
is.
I don't know. it's kind of interesting. I wonder if I kind of feel like, sorry, this is not meant to be political, but I do feel like the tariffs and stuff have impacted Disney a lot because their drops for Halloween have just been like kind of all over the place, like very delayed. Um and then even the execution of this feels very like not the best put together, to be honest. So I kind of wonder if like they're just struggling with sourcing. Is that the
Yeah.
right word? Sourcing for Halloween merch. I don't follow them every year. I mean, every season, or if someone dropped the ball with Halloween. um,
Yeah, it does feel like, oh, there's a halfway to Halloween notification on my event calendar. I gotta make a post real quick. And then they just like
yes.
left it alone. They're like, okay, I did it. Let's move on to the next thing. That's what it does feel like.
Yes,
But
that is what it's giving, to be honest, just because, like, when I talked about the history, Disney was a huge part of that halfway to Halloween, like, expansion. Like, they went all in, especially during quarantine. Like, they had games and events. Like, it was a huge thing. So to see it how it is now is just kind of like, what is going on? Are you guys saying
that's
halfway to
right.
Halloween is not important?
Yeah, they literally had a full event that we went to, didn't we? Like up in LA with the vintage antique houses. It was like the halfway to Halloween, or did I go by myself? I don't remember.
I definitely did not.
Okay. Well, they literally rented out like there's like a thing here in Orange County where it's like the Heritage Museum where they protect these vintage like old antique houses from way back in the past, but they have the same thing in um Los Angeles where they like protect these houses that are from way back when, and they have events there, and you can like in normal times you can go and like explore the houses, like do guided tours, but then at night they could like rent out to like um different people to put out events. And I believe one time they had like Pocus Pocus there, and
Oh, it was the Halloween, it was the Freeforms Halloween
Freeform, there you
Road.
go.
But it was during Halloween. It wasn't
Oh, okay.
halfway to Halloween. But
Okay,
yeah, I do feel like in general Disney hasn't been as
yeah,
into the Halloween stuff. Like it's more so
yeah,
seasonal now.
true. Maybe the person in charge of their marketing team was like, I don't really like Halloween that much. Let's just wait.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, because when I saw it, I was like, wait, what the heck? I didn't see anything about Halfway to Halloween from Disney, and I'm usually like looking for it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I kind of
Um,
snuck up on everybody.
but yeah, interesting. I love, love, love this episode. It has like just really, it's been a full circle of all of the things we all brought to the table without planning it.
I know,
Um,
right?
okay, I'm pretty sure we're like hitting a 2 hour point at this
Yes.
soon.
I think we
So
should wrap up with the two movies that we watched. And
okay. So we both saw The Mummy and Lee Cronin's The Mummy, to be exact,
mm-hmm.
and Faces of Death. But I would love to give you the opportunity to talk about your experience watching The Mummy.
Yeah, so I joined a raffle on Instagram, on Mystic Museum's page, and they were giving out free tickets to a screener. So I think I tagged you and Michael to try to win the tickets, and I won tickets to go. So that was really cool. It was up in Los Angeles at the Grove, which is this like really fancy mall, and it was at the AMC that was there. So we got there kind of early, because traffic is insane. Driving it from Orange County up to Los Angeles is always a trek, at least an hour to get up there. So we left a little early. So we got there early, and we were like looking around, and we found this like cute little burger shop that we ate at. And then we finally went to the screener, and it was really cool. They had a photo op where you would stand and take a picture, and then they would like morph it into a scorpion coming out of your mouth or doing something. So that was really cool. And they gave you a free shirt when you checked in, which was really nice. I wish I did get a bigger size because they're kind of like run small, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to wear this. It's like really tight at the armpits. But no, it's a really cool, nice shirt. And then we saw the movie. The movie again, amazing seeing it with other horror fans. because yes, it's such an intense movie. If you've seen Lee Cronin's other Evil Dead movies, just think it's that because you're watching an Evil Dead. Insane. I don't even know how to describe it, but I was like, what am I watching right now? Like some of those scenes were freaking disgusting. But then he really tied in the comedy to kind of like, I don't know, let off some steam and not be so like uh wired on what is happening on the screen. And the audience was so good. Again, nobody on their phones texting, just everybody in the moment and everybody laughing when it's appropriate to laugh. So yeah, it was a really good time. I also met other creators that were at this screening. So like the final queer, I did meet him, which I feel like we interact a lot on Instagram. And then also Mr. Jack Wabbit is another really popular creator on Instagram that goes to all of these premieres. So I was able to meet both of them. They're both super nice. I was very nervous to actually, I don't know, introduce myself to them because I didn't want to be like a creep. But no, they were both super friendly and they actually both knew or recognized me, and I didn't feel like I was too much of a creep just like following them around. But they were both super nice, and yeah, it was such a good time. It was a fun viewing experience.
That's good. I was so happy for you that you got the tickets, and like I said, it just feels like the past month we swapped lives. Like, you became the social butterfly, and then I'm the one that's like, "I just stayed home and watched horror movies."
Yeah. But I feel like
Um
that's fair. We balance each other out.
Yes, for sure. It at least helps keep things interesting, especially for the show, some variety.
Hmm.
But yeah, I also saw the movie. I was really surprised we did not get a screening event here. Like, really
Oh,
surprised because we usually get a lot of like horror screenings here. Um, but we didn't, and I was more upset because I really wanted the shirt. Everyone loved the mummy shirt design. They should have sold it, honestly.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about this movie. Um, it's funny. My friend Natasha keeps calling it Evil Dead Goes to Egypt
For
because it just
real.
feels so much like it. I personally really enjoyed it though.
Yes.
And I am on a mission, so if you're listening in the comments on Spotify or YouTube, I am trying to push myself to the limits with horror because this movie did not like feel gross or give me anxiety, you know? And I've heard that so much about it. I also heard that a lot about like if you want to feel really crappy after a movie like Requiem for a Dream will do it for you. And I'm starting to think like, is there something wrong with me? Because like, yes, it was a heavy movie, but it didn't like do that to me. I will say that there is one movie Mr. Spooks told me like it's the toughest movie to ever watch because of XYZ. And it did do it for me, but I will not even repeat the name of the movie because I really just do not believe in anyone supporting or watching it. I did it for the research. Um, so now I'm like, okay, where is the middle ground? I want something that does like, okay, wow, that was like really gory and really hard to watch, not something like this should have never been done behind a camera. So if you guys have recommendations, let me know. But yeah, this one, I just thought it was fun. I think it's so funny everyone was freaking out, but you know what? I really think that's where filmmaking really like broke my brain a little bit because now when I see things, I'm like, how did they create that? And like I
Right.
understand that like how the shots work together to create those effects too. Um, so in a way, it's kind of like ruined movies for me a little bit, where it's like I can't see it as real. Even in like this is not a horror film, but like Requiem for a Dream, like there's a scene that's like so bad and all I could think was like, "Dang, filming that must have been rough." Like, I think of it more of like, that must have been like really heavy to film on set. Like, what were people like feeling like on set and stuff? But I just thought it was really fun. I loved the pacing. Um, that's what I want when I go to a horror film. I want it to feel exciting. And I'm I know people are gonna hate me, but I kind of like really do hope like Lee Cronin gets an expansion into all the monsters.
Yeah.
Um, it would be really cool. I wasn't a fan of the mummy design, to be honest. But overall, it was a fun film. I'm not like just accept fun movies, guys. It's not that deep.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I went into this not really expecting anything, and I think I would watch anything that Lee Cronin makes because it's gonna be trippy. It's gonna be weird. It's not gonna be what we're used to with the classic monsters. So I'm okay giving him a little bit more and seeing what he does with all that. Um, Speaking about gory, did you not feel anything when that little girl put on her grandma's teeth?
I thought it was freaking
That
cool.
I was freaking I was disgusted. But
Well, but
it was
it's
so
not
funny that I
real,
started
and
laughing.
I think that's why it's hard for me though, because like my brain know it's like a haunt. That's how
Yeah.
movies feel for me now. Like I can't see them and be like, because you know what I have not tested it with though is like supernatural movies. I haven't seen
Oh.
like a really scary supernatural film since I finished Bad Boy. So maybe that'll do it for me, but all I can think of is like how they did that. Like I don't
Hmm.
know. I just thought it was so cool and so crazy, and I loved that little girl. Like I
I
loved the little
know, she's
sister.
so cute. I loved her too. I think she was like the standout for me because she was just so cute, but also like disgusting at the same time. um, Speaking of gory stuff, so last night I watched Sent Help. Did that get you a little bit with all like the blood that was splattering and when she kind of like insinuated she was castrating the man? Did those parts get you any like Jeepers Creepers or not really?
Jeepers Creepers. No. So another unpopular opinion. I didn't love that film as much as other people did. Did you like it?
Uh, it's not a favorite. It was fun, but it wasn't a favorite.
It
But
felt to me more like a mainstream blockbuster than a horror film.
yeah.
Um like a good for her film, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really like because I have been through a very similar situation with a toxic boss, not
Yeah.
with actually getting that opportunity to have to like make them survive and stuff. Um it just fell very flat, and it was also not written by a woman, and I think that it shows, and that was one of the movies
Mm,
that for me was just like it just didn't sit right with me because I was like, so you just painted this out to be as like another girl goes crazy
yeah.
versus I don't know. I had a lot of thoughts about it. We've had a very long episode already,
I know.
but yeah, it was like it was fast paced and fun, but like I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Same. Yeah. It was a fun ride, but yeah, now that you're explaining something else, like okay, yeah, that it did make her seem more of like a crazy girl rather than getting revenge, which I thought what it was. It was like getting revenge with this horrible boss, but you watch the movie and like, oh, they're painting her to be this like insane chick. Which
Yes.
she is, but still.
Dude, okay, but I will say that that was one of the best audience screenings I've ever had.
Oh,
Like
I bet.
people were so into commenting on it, like the part where she like believes him again where he's like, "I love you" or something. And then she's like kind of like falls for it for a second. Everyone in the audience was like, "Girl." It was so fun. That was a really fun screening, I will say. I'm like
Ye-
really, really hoping that we do get a screening for Scary Movie because I
Oh
think
my
like
god.
getting to see that with the horror community would just be like the best experience ever.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's like certain movies you have to go and watch with an audience because it just like adds to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think watching it with an audience made it better, but yeah, and I don't recall it feeling like squirmy at all, to be honest.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, and to wrap things up, we did both watch Faces of Death. Another movie that I thought got a lot of like negative feedback. Did you like it?
I liked it. I'm surprised people had, well, I guess I'm not surprised. Everybody has their own opinion, but I just liked how they incorporated the original movie into like a modern setting because it wasn't like a part two. It was like its own thing. And in this world, this movie exists. So I like the TikTok style commentary of how we're so used to watching certain things online, but other things are taboo, even though they may or may not be as bad or worse than what is allowed through some content guidelines. So I thought that was cool. And also commentary on why us as a society are so obsessed with death, or just, I don't know, like creepy videos that we find online that may or may not be real. And why are we so obsessed with that? And why do we want to look and find that?
Yeah, for sure. I loved it. I thought it was adapted so well to modern times
Yep.
and lots of commentary. I will say that I'm gonna give a spoiler, so skip ahead like 1 minute if you guys want. But I was screaming from the rooftops after this movie because I was like, we just got our first plus size final girl. Like, if
Yeah.
I am wrong, please let me know in the comments like who the other ones are. But I was just like, it was so freaking refreshing to see like a real woman's body in this lead role in a
Hmm.
horror film. Like, I just got so excited about it, and I found out later that the actress is Barbie Ferreira? I don't know how to pronounce it. Um, she was actually on Euphoria, and
Hmm.
she did not come back to it because she didn't want to be, typecast as, like, the fat friend quotations, I think is what she called it. And she's lost weight, and she looks amazing, and everyone deserves to have whatever body they want, but it was also, like, really sad for me because I was just like, "But dude, you did what, like, every girl dreams of, which is, like, landing, like, a feature film leading role in this, like, plus size body." Like, it was so cool to see, and so I'm a little bummed out, but good for her. I'm happy for her, and
Hmm.
hopefully it also does just still, like, pave the way for more women to be able to get roles that way because, like, I just thought she did such a great job, and I think having that element in the movie also made it feel, like, even better because, like, you could relate to her. Like, you
Yeah.
felt, like, the relatability of her, like, having this horrible job she has to get through every day, and like she's doing it, she's like fighting for what's right, and she's going up against this killer even though like she's not this like typical like fit girl that everyone sees in films. And I feel like no one has talked about that, and it's really upsetting.
No, yeah, she was great. She was such a great actress. When I first saw her, or I saw her when I first saw her name, I was like, "Is she related to America Ferrera?" Because I just those names are so similar, and I feel like they're
Yeah,
both Latinas. So I was like, "Are they like sisters, cousins, something?" But they're not related. I looked it up. They spell their names differently, but no, yeah, that it was so cool to see. Yeah, just somebody that's relatable, and yeah, I just really like the way she portrayed the character. Her acting was really good. It was some scenes were so intense with, how do you say his name? Dacre? Dacre, I think that's how you say it. Um, Even he was creepy. His outfit when he put on his full on killer outfit with the pantyhose and the weird mask. Yeah, that was super creepy. But yeah, that whole movie was such a fun time, and the whole time you're like rooting for her, but also I was rooting for her the whole time, but also at the same time I was like annoyed with her, like, why are you going back in the house? Like, I would
I
not want to go
know.
back in that creepy house, but she was so determined to get him found out. She was so determined to defeat him that she was like, I'm going back in because I know this is the right thing to do, and I need to expose him for what he is. And she did it. Good for her.
Yeah, it was good. And I will say too, the part that like really upset me was where the killer like plays Mr. Nice White Guy for the cops and they believe him. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, infuriating. And I'm just like, this is so layered with commentary. But I
Yes.
also thought it did such a good job of like layering it in with commentary. But for some reason, it just wasn't like heavy, like, ugh, stop throwing this in my face kind of commentary either. Like it
Hmm.
just worked really well for the story. So yeah, I was very upset that people also gave this movie very bad reviews.
Oh wow. I honestly didn't see that they got bad reviews. Because I yeah, I really enjoyed it. And funnily enough, it made me want to watch a new not a new movie, a similar movie which I had seen before, which think I know that Rudy likes this other movie that I saw, which was the Poughkeepsie tapes. I feel like he's mentioned it before. And I had seen it before, but this movie made me want to go back and watch this one. And if you don't know what this movie is about, it's like a found footage mockumentary where this killer documents all of his killings and kidnappings, and they eventually find all these tapes, and um, it just feels very similar to what this new character was trying to do, was tape all of his footage and I don't know, keep it as like an archive of all of his dirty things he's done in the past. But yeah, if you like found footage and you like some twisty stuff at the end, this is a good movie to watch too.
I have not seen it, but yes, Rudy does like it. I always love how well you know him. It's so crazy to me. You're his biggest fan.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think that's pretty much everything we got.
All right, Ghosters. With that said, I hope you had a happy halfway to Halloween. I am personally ready to jump into Summerween. It is time. Before we know it, Spirit will open and our favorite time will be here. So relish every moment. Um, and remember, we're haunting you with new episodes on the 13th of every month. So we'll be back on June 13th. Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye.
Bye.